Morning, everybody. Jeff from Rose Bucket Valley Garage. We've been driving the Mustang around for a little while, and we're working on suspension issues. The suspension in the front was making some noises, and also in the rear. So on the right front, we found the lower control arm, one of the bushings, was bad, so we just went ahead and did that. But I'd like to take and show you some of the stuff we're doing to the rear end of the car. We're actually, after having the car, it's a 2008, so it's been around for a little while. So the rubber parts that are in this car are brittle, so we want to take and replace them. So we've actually removed the wheels from it and we've put it up on jack stands so we can take and access the rear end. In taking the thing apart, since we dropped the rear end down, you can kind of see what's going on here. We took the shocks off. Okay, so these are new shocks. Those got installed yesterday to allow the rear end to drop down to the height that we need it, so we can get the center bushing that is on the third member out. We needed to take and unbolt the grate lines. Okay, so these are 10 millimeters, so you do that on both sides, so you got the extra slack in the lines, so you don't wind up stressing anything, breaking anything. These lower control arms here, there's a bushing in each end, so we have the bolts loose in both of those. So as soon as we get those parts, which will be this Friday, so I'm making this video on Sunday. So these lower control arms, it has bushings in them. The bushings are replaceable, but the thing is, trying to get the right part for that is kind of hit and miss. So we just decided to take and replace the whole control arm. So those are the parts that are coming in on Friday or so. They're coming from Jacksonville. So with all the foul weather that we've been having across the United States, we're having a lot of parts delays. So things are coming in late. So we're just going to be waiting for those. So let's move underneath and see what's going on in there. So underneath the car, there's a mount right here, and we just replaced the whole thing. However, this bracket right here, you have to take and drop the fuel tank to take and get it out, okay? And we really didn't want to do that. So we couldn't really get an impact wrench on this bolt right here. So what we did is there were 1, 2, and then there is another bolt underneath the back seat that we need to take and undo, and those will come out. But the thing is, the bracket won't come out, but it allows you to take and turn it to the side so you can get an impact wrench on these. And this is like 18 millimeter. So we went ahead and replaced this arm right here, and we're just leaving it loose for right now, because the thing is, we don't want to take and stress this bushing or this bushing here. So this was the main one that was bad, okay? So we don't want to take and stress the bushings when we take and let the car down. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it all back together with the bolts loose, and then we're going to take and put it with the springs, because as you can see, the springs are out right now, because the thing is, we're replacing the rubber parts that are on top and on bottom of that, because these are a little bit chewed up, and this one's even torn right here. Okay, so we're getting a little bit of noise out of that one. Okay, so those ought to be it on Monday, so we'll take and get those back together. But when we take and set the ride height, we'll put the springs back in, we'll put the shocks back on and everything, and then what we'll do is we'll slightly take and raise up the third member here off of the jack stands about 1/8 of an inch, and then we'll tighten all the bolts up, and then that should be the correct ride height. Okay, this little guy right here, okay, is not the most fun thing in the entire world to take and get out. Okay, so to get the other one out, what we did is we went on both sides with the Sawzall and we cut it as close to this part right here as we possibly could. And then we went with the drill and we took and went around in here and we drilled enough so we can take the centerpiece and we can take and punch it out. Okay, so what that will leave is there is a metal shell that is on the outside of these bushings, and then they have rubber, and then they have an inner sleeve. So what we did then is we went after this with a pointy bit in an air hammer, and we just took and collapsed that shell in here and then pushed it out. Okay, you have seen me use an installation kit when we were doing the U-joints on the S10. So that same kit allows you to take and do many different things, and this bushing right here is one of the things that you can do. There's a combination of the big C clamp, okay, and the screw that allows you to take and push this in here, and this has to be centered in the in this area right here. Okay, so this one right here, we hit it pretty good. It's within 10 thousandths of being centered. Okay, so we did pretty good. Let me show you the installation kit, because there was a little problem with that you may run into, and I wanted to take and show you that. And this is our helper right here. This is Violet. So this kit right here is made by Orion Mototech, better known as OMT, and it has a bunch of different parts that are in here. And here's the big C that you can use, and here's a screw. Okay, and we had to take and when we pushed it in, we had to take and use this one right here. But the thing is, to have the screw pushed through there, because it was about a 1-inch piece here on the end, and when it screws in from here to here with this full width, it doesn't allow you to take and mount it on the bushing. So what we had to do is we had to take this and we had to spin it up on the lathe and take about 3/4 of an inch off of it, and then it fits just perfect. Okay, so we'll have one of these for the next time. Okay, we have another one that's close, so we could go ahead and sacrifice this one to take and use it for this application. But then again, if we ever have to do any of these things again, then we'll be set. Okay, so I hope I've given you some good information here on how to rebuild a 2008 Mustang rear end. And this kit right here is really really nice. It's available on Amazon. So you know, not a sponsor, but they do have a lot of stuff. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful Sunday. Have fun watching the Super Bowl. Thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you next time.